Olivia had sworn off dating apps more times than she could count, but loneliness always seemed to drag her back. That's when she matched with Mark. His profile photo showed a man in his late 30s, salt and pepper hair, sharp jawline, and a smile that looked both kind and confident. His bio was witty, his messages thoughtful. He wasn't like the others. After weeks of chatting, late-night calls, and flirty banter, Olivia finally agreed to meet him in person. They picked a stylish rooftop bar downtown, a place Olivia loved for its soft lights and lively atmosphere. She spent hours getting ready, choosing a navy dress that hugged her figure and curling her hair just right. As she looked in the mirror, butterflies filled her stomach. Could this be the one? She arrived early, ordered a glass of wine, and waited. Every time the door opened, her heart skipped, expecting to see the man she had memorized from the photo. But when a figure finally approached her table, her smile froze on her lips. It was Mark, but not the Mark she had come to know. The man standing before her was at least 20 years older than the man in the photos. His hair was thinner, his face deeply lined, and his smile, though familiar, carried the weight of decades Olivia hadn't expected. "Olivia?" he asked softly, his eyes hopeful. She blinked, speechless, as a wave of emotions crashed over her. Betrayal, anger, embarrassment. She forced a polite smile and nodded. "Hi, Mark." He sat down across from her, clearly sensing her discomfort. "I know what you're thinking," he began, nervously adjusting his watch. "And you're right. My pictures, they're old. But I didn't lie about who I am, only about when those pictures were taken." Olivia's heart sank. "Not who I thought you were. Then who are you?" Other couples around them laughed, clinked glasses, and leaned in close, making her feel even more exposed. She crossed her arms, leaning back, her guard rising higher with every second. Because in that moment, Olivia realized she wasn't on a date. She was sitting across from a stranger. Olivia stirred her drink, trying to steady her hands. Every second at the table felt heavier, like the air between them was filled with unspoken lies. Mark kept talking about his job, his travels, the same stories he had shared online. But now, with this new face, they sounded different. She wanted to scream, to ask why he thought this was acceptable. Instead, she forced herself to listen, her eyes drifting to the exit. Her phone buzzed with a message from her best friend. "How's the date? Is he as cute as the pics?" Olivia's stomach twisted. "Look," she finally said, her voice low. "You're not the man in your profile picture. That's not a small detail, that's a lie." Mark's expression darkened with shame, but then he leaned forward, his voice almost pleading. "I didn't think anyone would give me a chance if I showed the truth. I didn't want to be invisible." His words hit her harder than she expected. Still, the betrayal burned too strong. She pushed her chair back slightly, ready to leave. But then something unexpected happened that made her pause. Before Olivia could stand, a woman approached their table. She was in her 40s, confident, with sharp eyes that immediately locked onto Mark. "So this is where you've been hiding," the woman said coldly. Mark's face drained of color. "Claire, I can explain." Olivia's pulse spiked. She looked between them, confused. The woman crossed her arms. "Explain. You told me you were working late. And now I find you here. On another date?" Gasps came from nearby tables. Olivia's mind spun. Not only had Mark lied about his age, but apparently he wasn't even single. Her heart raced as she realized this wasn't just a bad date. She had stepped straight into the middle of a secret double life. Olivia froze in her seat as Claire's words echoed in the bar. Conversations around them quieted, the weight of the scene pulling everyone's attention. Mark shifted uncomfortably, his voice trembling. "Claire, please lower your voice. This isn't what it looks like," Claire laughed bitterly. "Isn't what it looks like. You're here with a woman half your age, pretending to be someone you're not. How many more lies are you hiding?" Olivia's cheeks burned with humiliation. She wanted to stand, to leave, but her legs felt glued to the floor. All eyes were on her, as if she had knowingly played a part in his deception. "I didn't know," she blurted, her voice sharp. "He lied to me too." Claire's eyes softened for a moment, landing on Olivia. "Of course he did. That's what he does. He's been doing it for years." Mark buried his face in his hands, muttering excuses, but the damage was done. The mask he had carefully built was crumbling in front of everyone. Olivia finally stood, her heart pounding. But before she could leave, Claire added something that made her stop cold. "Don't feel bad, sweetheart," Claire said, her tone laced with both pity and anger. "You're not the first, and you wouldn't have been the last." Olivia's eyes widened. "What do you mean?" Claire sighed, pulling her phone from her bag. She tapped the screen a few times before turning it toward Olivia. Dozens of screenshots filled the gallery. Messages, profiles, conversations. All the same man, different names, different ages, different lies. "He's been catfishing women for years," Claire said firmly. "You just happened to catch him on the night I decided to stop playing along." Olivia's stomach dropped. Suddenly it wasn't just about a man lying about his age or sneaking around behind a partner's back. This was a pattern, a game, a web of deception that stretched far beyond her own ruined night. And now she was staring at the man behind it all, caught, cornered, exposed. The entire bar seemed frozen, waiting for Mark's response. His face was pale, his eyes darting wildly between Olivia and Claire. Finally, he tried to speak, his voice cracking. "It wasn't supposed to go this far," he muttered. I just wanted someone to notice me, to feel young again." Claire's jaw tightened. "You don't get to destroy other people's trust just because you feel invisible. You don't get to waste years of my life or humiliate women who thought you were real." Olivia stared at him, a mix of fury and pity boiling inside her. She wanted to shout, to demand answers, but she realized nothing he could say would undo what he had done. Around them, people whispered, shaking their heads, their judgment sealing his fate more powerfully than any words. Mark sank back into his chair, his shoulders slumping. For the first time, the man who had walked in with so much false confidence looked small, pathetic even. His carefully built illusion had collapsed, and there was no saving it. Olivia picked up her purse. "You didn't just lie about your age, Mark. You lied about everything, and that's something no one can forgive." Olivia walked out of the bar with her heart pounding, the cool night air stinging her skin. Claire followed, pausing just long enough to thank her for not staying silent. They exchanged a look. Two women who had been fooled by the same man, both carrying scars he could never erase. As Olivia walked away, she replayed the night in her head. The excitement, the anticipation, the crushing disappointment. But mixed in with the humiliation was something else. Clarity. She realized the real danger of online dating wasn't just bad dates or awkward conversations. It was the lies people told to become someone they weren't. Lies that stole time, trust, and pieces of your heart. That night, Olivia promised herself she would never ignore the warning signs again. The charm, the too perfect stories, the hesitation to meet in real life. Those were all masks, and behind them often hid the truth. Because sometimes the scariest thing about dating isn't who shows up, it's realizing who they really are. What would you have done if you were Olivia? Would you have walked out the moment you saw the truth, or stayed to confront him? Tell me in the comments, and if this story gave you chills, subscribe to Dating Horror Stories, where the scariest dates are always the ones that look perfect online.